You rewrote the same 6-line text 6 times. You read it back. You added a comma. You took the comma out. You rewrote it again. It is now 1 in the morning. The person you are sending it to went to bed 2 hours ago. The text was fine. It was fine after the first draft. What you have actually been doing for the last 40 minutes is auditioning for a verdict that has not been issued yet, by a jury that does not know it is in session, in a courtroom that lives entirely inside your own head. And in another tab, you have been refreshing a thread you posted earlier this evening, 8 times. Looking for a number that will tell you whether the thing you said was the right thing to have said. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man on earth. And he wrote, privately, in a journal he never expected anyone to read, that the only safe place a human being can stand is inside their own mind. He had a name for that place. He called it the Inner Citadel. In the next 14 minutes, I am going to walk you through its 3 walls. Why caring what people think is not a moral failing. Why the cure is not stopping the caring. And what Marcus actually built, behind his eyes, that let him fall asleep in a tent on a frozen frontier while his court spoke against him, by name, in Rome. The phrase comes from Meditations Book 8, paragraph 48. Marcus wrote it like this: "The mind that is free from passions is a citadel. There is no stronger fortress in which a person, having taken refuge, may from then on be undisturbed." He did not mean that you stop caring. He did not mean that you become a wall. He meant that there is a structure inside you, a built thing, with rooms and gates and a watchtower. And the work of being a Stoic is the daily maintenance of that structure. The walls are not there to keep love out. They are there to decide what gets a vote on who you are. The difference is everything. A person without walls is not generous. A person without walls is just porous. And a porous self does not love better. It only bleeds faster. Here is the part of Marcus that the bro Stoic accounts on your feed leave out. The historical Marcus, according to the Yale University Press study published in March 2024 on Marcus Aurelius and how to cope with anxiety, was a chronically anxious man. He had a stomach condition that flared on stress. His personal physician, Galen, prescribed him a daily dose of theriac, an opium-based compound, just to sleep. He outlived 3 of his children. He fought a frontier war he did not want. He was not a stone-cold warrior. He was a deeply worried, often sad, sometimes sleepless emperor who built the citadel because he needed it. Not despite the anxiety. Because of it. Read that one again. He built the walls because he was the kind of person who needed them. Which means the walls were never proof of strength. They were the architecture that let a fragile man hold an empire without losing himself inside it. Now jump forward 1800 years. In January 2026, the Economic Times reported that internal locus of control was the single fastest rising mental health search term of the year. Therapy clinics, productivity newsletters, executive coaches, wellness apps, all of them suddenly using the same phrase, internal locus of control, which is just clinical psychology's name for the thing Marcus built. The belief that your sense of self is calibrated from the inside, not from the room. The belief that the verdict on your life is rendered by your own mind, not by a refresh button, not by a read receipt, not by the silence on the other end of a thread. The trend caught up to the citadel. It only took 2,000 years. And in March 2026, the journal Frontiers in Psychology published a paper laying out, for the first time at this scale, the empirical foundations of why Stoic practice combined with mindfulness measurably reduces approval-driven anxiety. They were not citing Marcus to be cute. They were citing Marcus because the structure he described in the 2nd century, the Watchtower and the gate and the inner room, maps almost one-to-one onto what the brain actually does when you stop outsourcing your worth. The neuroscience is finally tall enough to read the inscription. So if a small voice in the back of your head has been saying, "This is just old philosophy, dress it up however you like," the answer this year is no. This is psychology. Marcus just got there first. Wall 1. The Watchtower. You cannot defend a citadel you do not know is being attacked. The Watchtower is the first move, and it is the move almost no one makes, because it requires you to admit, in plain language, that your sense of who you are has slipped outside your own walls. Marcus tells himself, repeatedly across meditations, to stand watch over his own mind. Not the empire, not the army, not the Senate, his mind, because the empire he could lose. The army could mutiny, the Senate could turn on him. But the mind, if he kept watch on it, was the one fortress in the known world that could not be taken from him by anyone but him. Here are the 5 signals your locus has slipped outside the walls. Signal 1. The rewrite count. You have edited the same message more than 3 times. Signal 2. The refresh count. You are checking the response of a thing you posted, and the number is now your mood. Signal 3. The rumination. A 2-line comment from a coworker has been running in your head for over an hour. Signal 4. The over-explaining. You are justifying a small decision to people who never asked for the justification. Signal 5. The avoidance. You are not sending the honest message at all, because you cannot predict the verdict, so you choose silence over the unknown. Notice any one of the 5 in the citadel has already told you which wall to walk back to. The noticing is the whole victory. You are not failing when you spot a signal. You are running the Watchtower exactly the way Marcus told himself to run it. The slip is the data. The data is the move. Wall 2. The gate. The Watchtower tells you the locus has slipped. The gate decides which opinion is allowed back in. Most people live with the gate stuck open. Every comment, every glance, every read receipt, every silence, every passive-aggressive emoji from a relative who has not earned it gets equal access to the throne room. Marcus would have called that, plainly, a city without walls. The Stoic move is not to seal the gate forever. The Stoic move is to remember that the gate has a guard, and the guard is you, and the guard's job is to ask one question of every opinion that wants in. Does this person have a vote on who I am? If yes, the gate opens. If no, the opinion is heard, logged, and turned back at the entrance with no offense taken. You are not being cold. You are being a working gate. In Meditations Book 12, paragraph 4, Marcus writes the sharpest line in the journal on this. Doing what is right because it is right is the only reward worth wanting. Read it twice. The reward, in the Stoic system, is not the applause for the right action. The reward is that the action was right. If you require both, the applause and the rightness, you have just given the gate to a stranger. So here is the practice. The approval audit. Before you act, before you post, before you send the long defensive email at midnight, ask one question. Would I still do this if no one ever knew? If yes, the action is yours. The gate stays open to feedback but closed to verdict. If no, the action belongs to the audience. Walk it back, sit with it, Try again tomorrow. The gate just told you who built it and who has been quietly running it without your permission. Wall 3. The Sanctum. The deepest room in the citadel. The work and the character live inside this room. The reputation lives outside the citadel entirely, in the public square, where it does not belong to you and never did. This is the wall almost everyone gets backward. They put their character outside, exposed to weather, and they bring the reputation inside to defend. So every breeze of opinion shakes the foundation. Every red receipt rattles the throne. Marcus would not even let his own image survive that confusion. He was the most documented man of his century, and he wrote every night about the worthlessness of being remembered. Not because he was depressed about it, because he had already done the math. In Meditations Book 4, paragraph 33, Marcus writes one of the most quietly devastating lines in the journal. Soon you will have forgotten the world, and soon the world will have forgotten you. He is not being morbid. He is doing the math out loud. The most powerful man alive, reminding himself every night that even his name will become a footnote in someone else's history textbook. The forgetting is the proof. If even an emperor's reputation evaporates, the audience you are losing sleep over right now is already gone. They just have not left yet. The co-worker, the relative, the stranger who replied with one cold sentence. None of them will remember the moment in 18 months. Most will not remember it in 18 days. So the sanctum holds the two things that survive the forgetting: the work while it is being done, and the character while you are choosing it. Everything else is weather. Now the honest Stoic beat, because the bro-Stoic version of all this, the cold shower, no feelings, Sigma male version, is a lie. And it is a lie that is making people who already feel weak feel weaker. The Yale University Press study from March 2024 on Marcus and how to cope with anxiety makes the point cleanly. The historical Marcus was, by his own account, often sad, often tired, frequently in physical pain, and almost certainly clinically anxious by modern criteria. He took Theriac to sleep. He buried children. He held an empire he did not ask for. He built the citadel because he was the kind of person who needed walls. Stoicism was not built for warriors. It was built for fragile humans who knew they were fragile and decided to design a life that could hold them anyway. The podcast, The Anxious Truth, in their December 2025 broadcast, number 333, called this out directly. The host, who has covered anxiety recovery for over a decade, made the point that the actual Stoic cure for chronic worry is not endurance. It is not contempt for feeling. It is not the refusal to flinch. It is what modern clinicians call mental distancing. The simple, repeatable practice of stepping back from the thought, naming it as a thought, and not chasing it through the gate. That is what Marcus was doing in his journal every night. He was not gritting his teeth. He was distancing, naming, sorting, letting the noise stay outside the gate where it belonged. So if you have been told that you need to be a wall, and you have been failing at being a wall, and you have been concluding that you are weak, hear this clearly. You are not weak for needing the citadel. You are exactly the kind of person it was built for. So here is the one thing to do tomorrow. Pick the wall you have been living outside of today. The Watchtower, if your day was a slipped locust you never noticed. The gate, if you let in an opinion that did not have a vote on who you are. The sanctum, if you confused your reputation for your character. Name the wall. Walk back in. That is the practice, not a year-long renovation. not a mountain retreat, not a personality transplant. One named wall, one walk back. Tonight, Marcus did it on a frozen frontier in a tent at midnight, with a journal and a guttering candle, and the work of 2,000 years has not improved on the move. Daily Stoic mentality. Ancient wisdom for the modern mind.